Sculpted nails. Boom, sculpted nails. Okay. So, and I'm going to be doing a demonstration as well for you guys to show you some things that maybe you didn't know about sculpting, or maybe you've tried sculpting before and you were like, this ain't for me. How many of y'all have tried sculpting and said, this ain't for me? Well, Miss Mary, teach. I'm going to actually explain to you guys how this make it easier for you to understand, and then sculpting might be something you enjoy. I hope so. Okay. So, because it is my favorite thing to do. So, we talked briefly last week about some of the advantages and disadvantages to forms. Anybody want to remind me, or maybe tell me what they remember as the disadvantages or advantages to forms?
You can give like the length you want, the shape you want, and you can extend the length.
So I would say more custom options versus tips, right? What about how long it takes to do tips in comparison to forms? Tips take longer, and why do they take longer? Buff, file, shape, fit, cut. Oops, too long. I don't like it. We got to start over. Okay. And then also, how about the money? So much more money when it comes to using forms, because it is one of those techniques that requires a lot of skill and a lot of practice. Okay. However, if you never had picked up a tip ever in your life and all you ever did was sculpt, I promise you'd be looking at those tips like, ugh, what? This is too much work. But nowadays we try to do things that are, that will make our lives easier. And for some people, tips are a little easier just because that shape is already in there. And you guys are lucky that nowadays you have tips that are already shaped like sculpted nails. I mean, there are some shapes you just cannot get, unless you sculpt. Okay, let's just be honest about that. But as far as in general, you can pretty much get any tip in any shape nowadays, pretty much. But we're gonna dive into this today. Okay, so we talked about some of the advantages and disadvantages well, what would be a disadvantage to using forms? Only thing I can think. What would y'all say? Somebody talking? Somebody said something. I heard a voice. Time consuming?
I think it'd be like the client itself, them not knowing how to.
You know what? Yeah. Okay, so let me tell y'all a quick story real quick. Okay. Story time. Pause. Story time. So I had a client, and bless her heart, she was her first time coming to me. She had never been in my chair before, and I don't think she even knew what sculpted nails were. She just booked me because she heard I was the best, whatever. So she sits down in my chair. I spend like 30 minutes customizing her forms and because her nails were all different shapes and all different, Long story short, I did all 10 forms on there. And then all of a sudden she stands up. She goes, I got to go to the bathroom. And she runs to the bathroom. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. Like, I don't know. Maybe she had a urinary tract infection or something. I don't know what was going on. But she jumped up real quick and ran to that bathroom. And when she came back, I was surprised that she even had 2 forms still on. But the rest of them were all crinkled up. And I was like, ma'am, how did you? We're going to have to reschedule you because I can't. It's going to take another 30 minutes for me to redo these forms, fix them back up for you. And she was just like, I'm so sorry. I was like, me too, but I got to reschedule you because you're going to run into my next client. And obviously she was embarrassed. So she never, she never came back, but I did get that money though. But the deposit, she felt bad, you know what I'm saying? But, so maybe a disadvantage might be that you have a client that just can't sit still. That is, but other than that, I don't see any disadvantages to forms. I love forms. The only disadvantage to forms is that maybe you don't know how to use them. That's it. Only disadvantage. Okay. So today, I hope this makes it easy. Let me just tell you, yesterday, the students were working on forms, and when they first started, they were like, I don't know. But by the end of the day, They're like, this is so much easier. I don't think I ever want to use tips ever again. The sisters, both of them both said that. And a couple of other people like, yeah, seems much easier, right? So, like I said, hopefully this class will make you like sculpting a lot more if you have not jumped into it. Shayla, you love sculpting, don't you? Mm-hmm. Okay. That's all she does now. So, we talked about the disadvantages, being able to add length, make the nails longer, different shapes. For me, they look more natural looking also if you apply the form properly. Okay, and we'll get to that today. And you'll have advantage over other nail techs because this is a skill and a lot of people don't know how to do it. Okay, I see y'all taking notes. I love it that y'all taking notes now because y'all know I'm a petty teacher, right? I let y'all use the notes sometimes and don't let you use the notes sometimes, but I love to see y'all taking notes. That's awesome. It will save your life. Note taking. If I didn't write down stuff, I wouldn't even know where to be every day. I can't hear. I can't even see you right now. My eyes are so watery. Oh, Chick-fil-A. Why are you whispering that? She's like, oh, bro, Chick-fil-A. I'm like, huh? Oh, you guys, there's Chick-fil-A. Matter of fact, would you mind bringing me one or two? I will really appreciate it. There's hash browns and Chick-fil-A thingy things. What are those called? Minis. Yeah, I don't usually do the minis. I get the biggies to go with my big bag. Y'all, my allergies. I don't know what's going on. I think it's my eyes crying for my lashes. They're crying for my lashes. I can't believe she said she was sick. I didn't want to be one of them clients that was like, what you mean you're sick? You can't be sick. I need my lashes done. So I just, it was horrible. All right, so I'll let y'all write that down. Now, just FYI, for the people that are in the live, you can watch us today because I am testing, 1, 2, 3. Live on our YouTube, just click the link in my bio. All I want is your email address. You don't even have to pay. Those email lists are priceless, ladies. I don't know if y'all know that. If you're trying to build up a following, it's very important. Get those people's emails address, and then you will get the link. All right. So, moving right along, let's talk about the different types of forms that we have out here. Let me move my big head out the way. How about that? There are several different forms that we use in this industry. You've got your disposable forms, which are my favorite, okay? Disposable forms, those types of forms, you are able to, you're going to throw them away after every client, obviously. You can cut these forms to be customized, obviously, whereas, and because you guys probably have never even seen reusable forms. Anybody ever seen reusable forms? And they were kind of the first ones I ever saw. I was a little like, oh, these are weird looking. I got a set for you, though. I'm going to let you slide that over to yourself at your own convenience because I don't really need that anymore. I just was checking my YouTube channel to make sure we were live. Okay, and there is a nice little mouse for you. Oh, have your own mouse. So nice. All right. Reusable forms, those are disposable forms. Those are the ones you guys see the most. Okay, but let me show you a set of reusable forms. Okay, these are kind of cool. However, I see absolutely no use for them except for one thing. We looked at this yesterday. Let me pull these up for you guys to see. This needs to be this way, like so. Like that. Do like that. Okay. This is what they look like. Zoom. Boom. Y'all ever seen anything like this before? As far as forms are concerned? Don't look at my crusty dermatitis. It is healing up. I'm so happy it's healing up. Ugh, my hands look horrible. All right. But these forms go like this. Okay, you're going to put them on the finger like so. Hold on. get one that's not, one that actually is pulled up. Okay, they go on the finger like this. Open them up. And it goes on like that, okay? Now, for me, the problem with these is I can't customize them because they are made out of like a plastic. It's not metal. This part is like a plastic. This is metal here. But I can't customize this shape, nor can I, you know, because in order to make this fit, this isn't even fitting properly, is it? Look how my nail is tipping down, or the nail would tip down, okay? That's not how we fit a form on, and I'm going to show you guys how forms are supposed to fit properly, okay? Could you sculpt it like that? I mean, it's a look, right? That people like their nails to go like that. But we learned last week about structure, right? And if you want a nail to last, you're going to need to have all of those structures that we talked about, right? Can anybody name some of them for me? The stress area, otherwise known as the apex or the arch. You could call it either one, right? What's another thing that we need to have? What about from the side view? What are those things called? We got two of them. Sidewalls. We need to have our sidewalls, and they need to be straight and not notched, okay? Meaning that you missing some acrylic on that side. All right? And then what's the third one that's very important? The C-curve, okay? The C-curve, we need those, okay? So in this case, if we look at this form, I mean, we're getting a C-curve, aren't we? But is this fitting properly? Look really closely at the, where my free edge is right here. Is there a gap? You see that gap? You don't want gaps, because if you get a gap, you're going to end up with more acrylic under the nail and not enough on top of the nail. We don't need acrylic under the nail. We need it on top for our, you know, our structure and our stress area, because that is the stress area, right? So that's where a lot of nail techs mess up when it comes to shaping. But I cannot fit this perfectly to my nail and get a nice, sleek, natural looking nail. This is going to look kind of bulky. And how do I know that? Because the form is sticking out. It's big back. It's got big old arms sticking out like this, like a linebacker, right? We want our forms to be slim and sleek like this, and I'm going to show you how we get that done today, okay? And just so y'all know, this is an advanced technique. This is not something that you technically learn in school, but I would be doing you guys a disservice teaching you about sculpting and not showing you how to do it properly, okay? Because you can get out of school and be like, I don't like it. I want you to like it because you can make a lot of money doing it, okay? So, but let's look at these real quick one more time. What shape do you think you can get with these really easily? Check it out. What shape is that? Duck foot. These would be great for duck feet, because look how wide you can get that. You can sculpt the duck. I think sculpted duckies probably would look better than the tip things they selling, you know. Yeah, girl, they got ducky tips. I got some over here. I think they're horrible. I think they're ugly, but, you know, to each his own. So those are reusable. These can be disinfected, right? And they were only $5. These can be disinfected in a barbicide, right? But they couldn't be put in the autoclave, could they? Why? There's plastic on it. Yeah, you can't put plastic in the autoclave. It will definitely melt, okay? Now, reusable nail forms. Let's look at a few of these. So, there's so many types of nail forms out here, okay? So, the typical ones that you're going to see, the typical nail form that you will see out here is this custom, they call this a, I'm going to turn this, y'all like my new sheet? Isn't it nice? I have made it myself on Canva. I'm so proud of it. It took me a whole 5 hours to get them things lined up. Somebody need to give me a little class on Canva now. Okay, so you'll see forms like this, Okay, these are your typical gold forms, all right, and these are very common, and this is what you guys are going to use in school, okay. How about this one? We have these also in school for you guys to use. This is very, you have more room, I think, to pull it if you need to. I'm just trying to make sure you stay charged. You don't even need that, but this for the power, you just need it for the mouse to work. Plug that back in. All right, so how about this one? This one, let me zoom out. Zoom out. There we go. Yep. This one is super long, right, for extra length. And you'll notice that it also has these lines on it. What do you think those lines are for? Out of curiosity, I want to know, what do you think they're for? Just don't log out of my restream. Okay. So you've got, for instance, with this one, this gold form, if we look closely at it, this one's very simple, right? So if your client says, I want my length of nails to be to the 3, right there, right? So that will help you do a nice square shape, right? Or maybe a coffin or a tapered square or whatever. But what about a stiletto? Ooh, you're gonna have to know what a stiletto shape is, right? So this form in particular, people think that those guidelines are meant to help you with the shape. They are not, okay? They are not there for that. Now, they will help you with the length, but not the shape, okay? Because if you see me put this on my own finger here, let me zoom out a little so you guys can see it on my own finger, okay? Now, when you put a form on, this is the perfect time to show you guys, this little tab that comes out of the hole here, don't throw it away. It's really good to put it on the inside of the form right there so that you have a little bit more strength. And when you start pushing on this form and trying to make it fit, it won't make it collapse and have like a dent in the side of it, like a car that you just hit with a hammer or something. You want it to be nice and smooth, the paper, okay? Look at my lawn man out there cutting that little piece of grass in the front. Y'all see how they tore up my yard? I'm so mad about it. I'm gonna tell him I know he's trifling for coming and cutting his grass today. He gonna charge me full price, and half the grass is tore up. All right. Anyway, so when you put a form on, there's 3 different ways to do it. Okay, you could just take the form and slide it on the finger underneath the free edge. Try your best to get it straight, because you know a straight form makes a straight nail. If your form is not straight, then it's gonna be crooked. Okay, so this is I'm gonna show you from hardest to easiest. Okay, so we put this on, you lay the back, make it stick on the back here so that it's stuck like that, and then you're gonna try your best to eyeball and line this up. The wings, these are called the wings. Okay, line them up and make it straight. Now, I've been doing this a long time, and I still can't get it. Let me zoom in. You can see that it's not straight. It's not, it's a little bit off. Can you see that on the back? It's off a little bit. And look what it did to my form. You see that collapsing right there? It pinched. That's not good, but some people will be like, it's all right, I'm going to just work around it, okay? Because if you look at this, it is on, but it's obviously not straight. If you look at it, well, I mean, I did a pretty good job. I ain't gonna lie. But it ain't straight, as my gay best friend would say about himself. All right. So the third way to do this is to, and this is helpful on big, wide fingers like thumbs, okay, is to open this up in the back, okay, bend it, and then put this on. For instance, this is my thumb, okay, and line up that middle line. We want that middle guideline. That's what these lines are for, that middle guideline to line up with my finger, my knuckle, all right? And again, I still got to try to put that wing together and make it straight, okay? Now, let me show you the difference between these two. I opened up the back and on one, and the other one I left closed, didn't I? Okay, so look at, this is what your guidelines are for. They're not for the shape, because if I said if my client said, I want a square nail, if I follow these lines right here on the side, am I going to be lined up with my sidewalls? Not at all. So you got to look at your client's natural nail shape when it comes to forms. These guidelines are not what you think they're for. So look at this from the side. These guidelines are to show you if your form is on straight, so that you can get a straight side wall. Okay, for instance, if you look at this line right here, this black line, this line right here, if I look at it from the side, it's curving down a little bit, isn't it? Hold on, I'm trying to get it nice and straight for y'all. My finger is straight. Is my form tipping down? If I were to follow this line for the square nail, is the line, it's kind of doing this, y'all. The very edge of that gold. So the advantage to opening up your forms is now I can tip this up a little bit. Now she's straight. You see my line, my gold line, where next to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that is straight. And so now I can stick that on the side like so. Now my form is perfectly straight in a straight line. And you can see that with your eyeballs, okay? You don't need no rulers and stuff. This is math, y'all, this is math, okay? When it comes to sculpting, it's like building a house. It's engineering, okay? So, but you'll notice if I turn this over, would I even be able to close? If I had left it closed, it would have been tipping down. Look at this nail. This one's left closed, right? And it ain't even. Now look at my black line right here. It's definitely tipping down. Way down. Okay, so that's not necessary. It's a look, but it's not going to give you the structure that you want. Okay, now the third and easiest way to do this, now you can either open up the back or you can leave the back closed, but the third and easiest way to do this is to put your form, go ahead and put your little tabby tab on there. Okay, I'm going to take these off because it's going to make my life a little bit easier. Okay, imagine doing this on yourself. One nail at a time, baby. All right, go ahead and put your wing together, and don't squeeze it tight. Don't squeeze it tight, y'all. Just a nice little kiss on the tip right there. And then we're going to, whether you want to have it open or not, it's up to you. But most of the time, in order to get the nail straight, you're going to need it open. Not everybody has perfect shaped fingers, all right? But I'm going to leave it closed because today you guys are going to be doing it on those sticks, and they are perfectly straight, aren't they? We had some people graduate, and we have quite a few brand new sticks donated to us, so you guys will be happy. You don't have to use the old sticks. But when you use the stick, it'll fit perfect. So we're just going to hold it here, find our free edge, fit it up under there. Then I'm going to tap the back here, make sure that the middle line is straight, okay? And it's not. Let me make it straight. Find that middle line. You see the middle line? Make sure it's lined up with the middle of my finger. Then tap this down, and then we take our finger and we're going to close it up completely, okay? Like so. All right? Now, if you want a square nail, this has to be open, like a circle, right? So you get a C curve there. So, of course, pinching it too much is going to give you more of a slender, tapered square, right? Now, if I want a coffin nail, I would pinch this like a stiletto almost, because see, I'm going to stop it right there at a line, and I'm going to have a stiletto nail, right? Now, I mean, it's not stiletto coffin, but you're going to pinch it like it looks like it. Don't pinch it too far down. Pinch it right at the tip. And then depending on the length of the client's nail or how narrow they want their coffin to be, then you would, pinch it down more. Now with stiletto, the only way to sculpt the only way to get a true stiletto is to sculpt it. Okay? I don't care what you cannot cut. You can cut a tip, and when you cut a tip, it's now if you ask me, it's more like a claw. It's kind of like, it's not going to have the structure, the C curve in there. So in order to get a stiletto, if my client says to me, I want a stiletto nail. How are we going to get a stiletto with a form like this that does not have any pretty lines on here, nothing like that to help guide us, right? How will I do it? Well, my client doesn't want it this long. If she wanted it this long, this is perfect. Just leave it right there, sculpt it all the way to the tip. But if the client says, I want them shorter, I want some little, what do they call them? Like chicken, foot fingernails. Chicken, them little, yeah, I hate them. Or what's the nicer way to say it? Kitten heels instead of stilettos. If they say they want it shorter, we're going to pinch it to the length that they want it. So if she says, I think I can handle to the 5. So you got to pinch it to the 5. Does that make sense? Okay. So you can use these types of forms to get any shape. You just got to know how to make that shape. Okay. Now, let's look at these extra long ones here real quick, because these have some guidelines on them as well. All right. Same thing. I'm going to put this tab on the back. Look at these wings. I love when they have long wings that stick, that, you know, that it just is easier to put it together. This is my way of doing it, is putting it together ahead of time, best you can. Okay. And then slide that on the finger. Not every client is going to have a nice little free edge on their nail either, and we're going to get to that too. Okay. Sorry. Tip it back. Let it get on that, stick to the finger in the back there. And then we're going to put the back wing together. Best you can. Okay. So now we've got this extra long form on here. Okay. Now, what are these guidelines for? Is this for helping you make your stiletto shape? Absolutely not, because there's not a single guideline on here that lines up with my sidewalls. As a matter of fact, I ignore these guidelines. I only use them for length. Okay? But this will help you when you're doing, trying to make these extra long nails and make sure that they're absolutely straight. You see that?
Yeah.
You can see that that form is on straight because that guideline is straight. So start ignoring those lines. Don't let these lines overwhelm you, okay? Because they really only are there to help you see how straight the nail is, okay? Now, how do we take a form off? This is a good time to show you. How do you take one off? Well, you're not just going to snatch it off, okay, because there's going to be acrylic attached to it. So what you do is you're going to, if it's open in the back, then you don't have to worry about this, but open up the back, okay? Take your finger, there'll be acrylic here, and you're going to want to squeeze to release the acrylic from the form, and then pull down. And why do we pull down? Well, you don't want it to break. But what is attached right here at the free edge that if it's the nail bed is there, and what's attached to that? What is that nicium? The hyponychium, okay? If you pull it or snatch it, that hyponychium, it'll hurt. We'll just put it like that. Be very careful, especially if they have high hyponychiums, okay? Now, you've probably seen forms that are shaped like this and wondered why they're shaped like this. The Snapchat ghost. And there's Snapchat ghost. Whee! Or cat ears or devil horns or whatever you want to call it. You see that opening right there? What do you think that's for? Now, mind you, this is a clear form, a plastic clear form. Why do you think we use clear forms? What is the reason for clear forms in comparison to one that's not clear, that you can't see through? We haven't done this chapter yet, but you will get to it at some point. What do you think clear forms are for? What would happen if I twist the shades on that window right there? What would happen in here? We wouldn't be able to see through the window, right? So what do you need? What product do we use that light is required to make it cure? Gel. So if you're doing gel nails, 100% gel nails, using forms that you cannot see through are going to be a problem unless it's clear gel. Okay, now if it's opaque gel, you're gonna have a problem because the light can't hit underneath. It can only hit the top. It's just like when you use black polish and you wonder why it curls and peels off. because the light can't see through it. It's black. The pigments are keeping the light from being able to see through it. So when you use forms that you can't see through and you use a product like polygel and it's opaque, you can't see through it, it's a pretty pink that you can't see through, you may run into a problem when you go to snatch that form off, pull it down, you look underneath and it's cured on top, but underneath is still wet and gummy. And now you done messed up the nail, okay? So you're going to want to apply your product very, very thin and build it up with gel if you're doing sculpted gel nails, or you're going to want to use clear forms, okay? And that's why I have these forms. But besides the obvious clearness of it, right? What else? We see this shape that there's cut out here. What is that for? Why do we have that? What is that? Why is it shaped like that? Absolutely. So if you look at this form here, we'll look at this one. What do you notice about the side? Can I see my finger skin, which is known as what? We've got our proximal nail fold down here. What is this fold on the side, that skin called? Not the sidewalls, because that's the nail. What's the skin called? We got proximal nail fold and what? Lateral. The lateral nail folds. You can't see them. Not completely. So if I can't see them, that means that they're trapped underneath the form. Okay, so watch this. Okay, this is an advanced class, y'all. I'm supposed to just show y'all how to throw these on and figure it out. All right, this is an advanced class, and I'm testing it out on y'all because I'm gonna be charging for this. All right. If you take a form and on a fat finger like my thumb, when I put this on here and I close it, what do you notice about the sides? Are they bulging a little bit? You know, this right here, when it's too tight, your pants are too tight, what happens? You get a little muffin top, don't you? The sides kind of spill over. Well, what can you do to fix that? She said, pull it up over the muffin top. Yep, take it and just pull it over the fat. Right. Yeah, that's what I do. But what can you do if your pants are too tight and you got to go somewhere, they're just too tight, you can't breathe. You're going to release some pressure, take you some scissors and cut the sides, right? That's what we used to do back in the day when we was poor, when our pants was too little and we needed to wear them to the end of the school year. Cut a little slit in the side, right? But there is something that's people who sew, they do that too. All right, so what can I do to this form to make it fit? All right, again, this is an advanced technique, so, Cut it, just like we do them pants. Trim the sides. So you guys have probably seen this before. All right, now. You guys have probably seen these types of scissors before, but you've seen them used in the wrong way. Okay? We're live on YouTube. Click the link in the bio. Click the link in the bio. What are these for? Not for cutting the skin. It's not for that. It's for cutting these forms. So this is how you cut a form to release the pressure, okay? This nail, could we sculpt it? This is what I call a salon style nail. Nothing special. Yeah, you can leave it just like that. The client's gonna have bulky, wide, fat nails with the muffin top hanging over the side, okay? And you'll see what I mean in a second. So how do we make this fit? Right? Let me show you on paper first, and then I'll show you on my finger. So we take this form right here, which I've already got one. I don't need to put another one on there. We take that form, and you see the gold one. We're going to cut a 45-degree angle. What is a 45-degree angle? This is 90, the L. 45 is right in the middle, okay? So the L, we got our lateral sidewalls. This happens to fit perfect, right? So we got the L here, right? And an L here. So that means we're going to cut it, boop, right there, boop, right there. Y'all already see my Snapchat ghost getting cut out? Can y'all see it? Hold on, let me put this up here. If you look at it from this view, with my little plastic form that I just ripped, okay? Look. See my Snapchat ghost starting to be, sorry. Look at that. So I already cut out see the little black. I know you can hardly see it because it's black already. But you see if I cut that right there? So this is what we would do. You can cut them before you put it on the client, or you can, if you're careful, you can cut it after, okay? So we would take this form and we snip it. Where are we snipping it for this client to fit perfect? Right here, right there, and also 45-degree angle right here. Okay? Now, look at you see what's happening? When I cut this out, you're going to get that shape, something similar. Now what I'm going to do to give myself room in my jeans is I'm going to trim out a little Nike check. Watch. Boop. See that? Now mine looks more like a cat head, but you get the point. And then another little backwards Nike check. Boom. So now when I fit this on my client, check it out. Ooh. Them jeans fit, don't they? We can see that it's not going to be any hang time on this nail. So now watch what this looks like on my finger. If I take this and I apply this to my finger, let me go ahead and put my wings together because I just need to do that. All right. Apply this to my finger here, press it back, and when I close it all the way, now look, there's no pressure on the sides. You see? Now look at the nail when I squeeze it. Isn't it nice and slim? You can't see the form hanging over the side or big batch like this, okay? Because when we have a form that hasn't been cut, look, we can see the sides. See the sides here? We want our side walls to be slim and straight out. We don't want them to go like this, start at the nail and then go whoop, wide like that, okay? So that's how you customize a form to fit perfectly, okay? Now, I have somewhat decent shaped nails, okay? You're not always going to run into people with perfect shaped nails, are you? What if you get somebody who's got bitten nails, and this is where sculpting is going to be much easier than tips? Because can you glue a tip to somebody who ain't got but that much nail? Think about it. It's like all on the skin, and we don't want to put monomer and acrylic powder on the skin, do we? Okay, so what would we do? Let's do an example on one of these fingers here. Let's say that the client has severely bitten nails and all of this is gone. This is all gone. None of this is here, okay? All they have is this little piece of nail right here. Sorry, y'all, right there. That's all they got. Ooh, she said, ooh. Ooh, this is going to be some work, isn't it? And it's actually not going to be, because once you have the right tools, it makes your life a lot easier, okay? So what if you could have a client whose nail is short like that? And it's all that, you see they got all this skin, that's all skin right there, hanging over. How are we going to cut this form? Or what kind of form are we going to use? Because there are probably more shapes of forms out there than there are actual nail tips. How about one like this that has a square cut out already made for you? Tammy Taylor makes these. These are called her custom square competitive edge forms. But at the end of the day, the only difference between this one and this one is everybody's free edge is not shaped the same. You've got clients who have square-shaped nail beds, and how do you know they have square-shaped nail beds? The pink part, not the free edge. You can shape your free edge to any shape. But your nail bed, is it square or is it round? If you were to chop every bit of the white part, the free edge off, what shape would the free edge be? Square. On yours, you got square. See, you can see mine are nice and have a nice curve to it. That's why these the gold forms fit me. But in this case, this client, we would just put this up right them on to where the nail, right there. And we would probably have to customize it a little bit so the sides would be released, right? So that this wouldn't be a wide form. So how would we do that? At a 45-degree angle right here. You see that? This is easier on these black forms because it got a white spot here. So cut it there at a 45-degree angle. Watch this. Try to peel this off. Nice and easy. These stick really, and you want to find forms that stick really, really good, y'all. So we take this and we're going to clip it, and I'm going to clip it a little further down because remember that client has a bunch of skin on the front of their nail. So I'm going to just cut it a little further down than what I normally would. Okay. And then again, carve out the side just like this. Carve out the side like a cat head or the Snapchat ghost, whichever generation you from. Okay. And then when we put this on the client's nail, look at that. That fits perfect. You're not going to get acrylic on their skin, okay? Because we don't want to do that. That causes contact dermatitis, right? So this is what this is going to put everything together for you, and this is perfect. Try to have your forms fit the client's nail just like a puzzle piece fits together. Okay? If you look at all of these, they're like puzzle pieces. We had to trim this to fit. Now, you know, sometimes you get like that with puzzles too. You're like, I know this fits. You just want to force it in. You can't do that with sculpting. If you do, because people do it all the time, and that's why their nails break. That's why the stress area doesn't have enough acrylic, or the C curves are not there, or the C curve had a kink in the side of it because your form collapsed. Okay? All of these things are important for structure, and not everybody can do it. Okay? Again, you may have a client who has 3 square nails and some that have, you know, some of the nails are nice and high hyponychiums. I mean, I have a very high hyponychium on my pinky and nowhere else, none of the other nails. Okay? So, buy different shape forms. Try them. At the end of the day, you don't have to buy any of these forms. You can just have one shape and cut them to fit. Okay? So, if you know, there's several, I've got about 15 different types of form. I want to show you guys some other ones here. Here's one that I really like. It's one of my favorites. It's by ONS. Okay? And it has multiple guidelines on there. Not just the stiletto shape. It's got the square shape. It also has these perforated parts here, so that, because you guys doing gel nails in a gel lamp with sculpting forms is very difficult, because think about how big this piece is sticking up underneath here. So when you put their hand in the light, their hand is going to probably be sitting up high off of the table because of the form's wings on the bottom. So that's what these perforated marks are for, so that when you get ready to, you can actually make these shorter so that this part is easier for you to slide it into a gel lamp, right? Instead of having it bump up against the bottom. Okay, I really like these. Then, of course, there's, which I've never understood why people glue tips to tips to tips, but look at this form. Look how long this one is in comparison to even this super long one right here. You can sculpt. If I put this on my finger, y'all, this is so long. These are definite Cardi B. Yes, Cardi B. But I love the wings on these because there's so many of them. Look how long that is. That is ridiculous. And nail artists will put form on top of form on top of form to make the forms extra long if they're doing like art pieces and stuff like that. But this is a very long form, okay? And so you can get any length you want. What about different shapes? How many different types of shapes can you get with a sculpting form? Anybody want to name some that you've never, you know? Let's see, I've got some here. I got several different shapes here. Hold on. Oh, thank you for the gifts. Hold on. Man, when I tell you, I be set. Anybody got a Pinterest? Man, I save everything on Pinterest. I got so many shapes here, and this is just my my class. Hold on, let me put it on here so y'all can see. There's so many different shapes that you can do. Those are standard shapes. Let's not look at those. Let's do advanced. Let's do exotic. You can sculpt anything with sculpting forms, any shapes. Let's do Russian. I'm trying to find my little chart. I don't know what happened to it. Chart. Oh. Look at these. Those are edge nails. Okay, I did these live on TikTok not a couple of weeks ago. Those types of shapes. This is an edge nail. You can see how from the top it looks like it's kind of like a blade, and then it's got that spine down the middle. They're absolutely beautiful. That's not even close to all of the shapes you can get. Like, look at these more almondy shapes. They kind of look. They're called the Maryland. I mean, if you look at most the Hispanics, the Mexicans, honey, down there in Mexico, they are doing some of the most beautiful nails. Look at those, those are like a butterfly design in there. Just gorgeous. Okay, and all of this stuff is sculpted. You're not getting these with tips. Okay, look at that. So look at that. There's a bunch of different shapes. A modern stiletto, the modern almond, a pipe shape, square, and then I don't know what that says down there at the bottom. Modern something, just a modern shape. But everybody has their own names for them. Again, stuff that you cannot do with tips. Okay. So look at I can always spot Votino's work. Love his stuff. But anyway, not to get on too deep, because I can talk about his stuff all day. All right. So everybody understand how sculpting works, and hopefully that didn't confuse you, or it maybe cleared up some things for you as far as what those lines are for, how all that works. So what you're going to do today, okay? And we got a bunch of sticks over here. Again, we got a bunch that were donated because we had a bunch of people graduate. So what you guys are going to do today, we are going to be using the gold forms, okay? Let me pull out my stuff. These clothespins, you can use the long sticks if you want to, but you're going to have to pluck. We've got a bunch that are brand new here, okay? So when you put the form on, you're going to put it on however you decide. Hopefully you guys are going to do it the easy way, okay? Go ahead, put your little gold circle there. Pinch the free edge, the side of it really gently. Don't pinch. If you pinch it too much, you won't be able to fit the stick in there. Okay, so leave it open a little bit, and then you're not gonna, what you would think that you're going under. Don't go under, because you're gonna have a gap. You see the gap? You don't want to do that. We're gonna sculpt right here on top. Just pretend that there is a free edge. You guys got it easy today. Don't go too far back, because you won't be able to you won't have a lot of free edge. I don't want y'all sculpt them real long. Okay, so see how that fits perfect? Look, you got a nice C curve there. Okay. And the form is on there. So you guys got it easy today. You don't have no weird shaped nails or none of that stuff going on. Okay? Now let me get my powder out. You have your powder and your monomer. Just add a little bit more to that. Your nail brush. You're going to need a paper towel. And we're going to sculpt a decently shaped, decent length. Don't do something that's like super mad short or super long. You guys got to do a bunch of these today. Okay, so put your brush in your, let me zoom up so y'all can see me picking up my monomer and stuff too. Okay, there we go. All right, going in. Okay, and I'm gonna pick up my first bead. Oh, I got glasses on my head, don't I? Like, why can't I see? Okay, I'm gonna go in, pat, pat, pat. Wait a second, let it polymerize. Drop it on, make it connect at the form and the nail. Drop it, press the liquid in there, clean your brush, let it flow a little bit. Okay, now once it has polymerized, and how do I know? Because it's turned into a nice shiny pearl instead of like wet sugar. We're going to press it out past the line that we want to stop, because we need to go all the way to here, right? Our client's sidewall, he got wide nails, or she, he, oh, they, whatever. Press it out and then bring it back. I'm going to make it to this second line here. Okay, and bring in the sides. You have time to work with it. And the reason I can press it is because it's polymerized. If you press it too soon, it's going to get all in your brush and you're going to have a mess. Okay, you don't want to press it while it's still wet and it hasn't come together yet. All right, so you see my first little ball there? That's my free edge. Now I'm going to go in, get another bead. Pat, pat, pat. Wait a second. Let it come together. Then go right behind it. Press, 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 and pull so that it blends. All right, let it smooth out a little bit. Okay, now once it polymerizes, now I can press and pull, press and pull. Smooth everything out. I'm very lightly touching this. I'm not using my brush. If you're pressing on the acrylic and your brush splits open like that, then now you're pushing acrylic into your brush and everything's gonna stick. Okay, let me fix that real quick because I just messed it up. Push, 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 and smooth it out. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with another bead just because I want this. I need an apex kind of, I need my cuticle bead. All right, now you're just imagining there's a finger there, okay, a bed there. And if you wanted to draw one, you could, but I don't think that's necessary. Pat, pat, pat. Tip it downward, okay. Press right here in the back. Press it and release. I'm not going to pull this time because right now, if I pull it, it'll be flat. I'm making an apex, so I want to, from the side view, you can see here, I'm using at a 45-degree angle. We know what that is, and then brush forward. 45-degree angle, brush forward, okay? So that I get, and I'm smoothing it out so you can see that it goes from the cuticle and then goes up a very little bit, and I'm going to add another bead and go straight out. So a fourth bead. Always make sure that your product is where you want it. Okay, I'm gonna do another bead because I want that a little bit higher. That fourth bead, you know, the one that's on your paper, put it right there, drop it. See how it's spreading a little bit? And again, 45-degree angle. I'm tucking in my cuticle area and then bring it forward. Now, what's important, because you guys have to do this at State Board, but you're not going to do it on a stick. Can I get everybody to say, Miss Mary, I know we're not doing it on a stick at State Board. Okay, shake your head, yes, okay. Because one of y'all going to go with a damn stick because you didn't. I got to make sure you know. We're doing this on our mannequin hand, right? So you got to do a sculpted nail on your mannequin hand, and then you have to soak said sculpted nail off. So you do not want to make it what? Thick or too long, or you will be filing for your entire life trying to get that, because you got to do a lot of filing, right? We're not sitting there soaking off a full nail. We got to file most of it off and then soak the little bit that's left. So you don't want to be filing forever, okay? So we want to make it thin as possible and still structurally sound, because you got to file on it, right? But also not too long, all right? Now, how do I know when this nail is cured? because we only did one nail at this point. We'll be working on another nail, letting that one cure. How do we know that it's cured and ready to file on? It'll get hard, but how do we know it's hard? Because you don't want to take it off too soon. Right. So if I tap it right now, is it ready? We know it's not ready because it still got shiny spots. It'll turn matte. Once it turns matte, then you know that it's starting to set, which is known as what? Polymerization, right? Because when we tap on it, we want it to sound like this. Okay? Right now, right here on the tip, it's still a little hollow. Right here is good. On the sides, it's still not good yet. So you don't want to take it off too soon, all right? But there is a time where you can manipulate the shape of the nail, and that's known as pinching the C curve. Okay, y'all ever seen these before? These are called pinching tools. All right. If you find that your nail is the C curve is not C curving the way you want, or you want to pinch it a little bit so that it's a little bit more narrow, you can take this. Now you want to make sure that this is not that it's not fully set, because if it's fully set, you can't do nothing. But you take this and you are going to lay it right there at that 45-degree angle. Okay? And this is pinching itself. I don't have to, if you pinch it too hard, it can, well, it'll be painful to the client. Okay? Because remember, that's like putting on a tip that's too tight. All right? You don't want to do it too tight, too hard. All right? So you're going to let that sit. And I usually put it on a client, let this one pinch and just sit there while I'm working on another nail on another hand, or whichever, if you're however you alternate the fingers, because you do not want to put forms on all 10 fingers. Didn't I tell y'all my story why you don't want to do that? Because if that lady had to run to the bathroom and she had at least one hand free, she could have got away with it, right? But a lot of clients want to text, they want to do all that stuff. Do yourself a favor and just do one hand at a time. All right, so now can do the samba. We can make music over here, play the drums on it. It's fully cured. Now, how do we take this off? Open up the back, squeeze the front to release, which there's something under there. I can't really squeeze it like I want to. Squeeze it and pull down. See how I released it and pulled downward? So see what I mean about the tip? The tip, I didn't make it long enough, but I can still file it. They were trying their hardest to file it yesterday. So don't go that far up on the form, or make it a little longer than this nail, so that way at least you have a free edge, because I sure ain't got no free edge. Where'd my file go? I got it. Hid it from myself. All right, so let me show y'all my filing technique. Where's my marker? Where are you hiding? I just had it. I was marking all over this paper. I can't keep nothing. Jesus. All right. So I'm going to mark this up so you guys can see where we're filing, okay? Okay. First place I file is the tip, all right? So we're going to, the sidewall. Sidewall, 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 and then the tip, okay? And again, make your tip a little longer, y'all. I'll make it this short, okay? To get my shape in, okay? Then the next place that I file is the tip area. I want to make sure that tip is nice and even, and it's not wompy, one side higher than the other. And how do we do that? We look at it from the front view here, okay? So what we're looking at is how thick this side is compared to this side, compared to the middle. We want it even on all the way across the board, all right? So when I'm filing, notice if you guys look at me from this view, my elbow is going to be tucked into the side of my body here. And all I'm doing is moving this file, but I'm going to be twisting the nail. Okay? So this is where having a client as stiff hand Stella is, going to give you carpal tunnel, because you got to twist and twist and twist. Now watch this. See what disappears? Start on one side, move to the other. Just focus on the tip. Okay? See what's disappeared? Just the tip. 100 grit.
Oh,
Yeah, medium grit, 100 grit. Okay. Now, where do you think I'm going to go next? Where do you think I'm going to file next?
near this cuticle.
Absolutely. Back during in the cuticle area. Excuse me. The cuticle area. Okay. And why am I not filing from the front to the back or the back to the front? Or
So you want more strength here.
we want to preserve the apex area because we built that up, didn't we? Why we want to file it down? Leave it there. Let it be last that you file. Okay, so now this is where hand filing seal comes in. I'm going to take my file. See what's disappearing? I got my side there. And I'm going to make a U shape around the cuticle area at a 45-degree angle. I'm holding my file at a 45-degree angle like this, just like the way we laid our bead. Okay. And we're going to file around the PNF from the and the lateral side walls, all that acrylic that's in that area. There's several different ways to hold your file. I first held it like this, and then you can turn it around and go the other direction. The way you hold your file is completely up to you. Whatever feels good and does the job. Okay. Now you notice that I only have black in the apex area. And you know that because if you look at it from the side, let's zoom in a bit. Zoom, zoom. You can see that I have my cuticle area and it slopes up to the apex and then it goes straight out. So now this last step, and we're going to file because we need to file in that area just to make sure everything is level. Okay. But we're going to lightly file that area just until the black goes away. And make sure that everything is level in that area, because if you file with a flat file and you notice that there's a part that the black hasn't gone away, what does that mean? Is it lower or higher? If I'm filing on top of something and the black is disappearing, but there's a little spot that's the black hasn't disappeared, that means that the little black spot, is it lower or higher than my file? Lower. So that means I need to file till I get to that low spot, because or maybe I didn't add enough acrylic. I got lumpy dumpy nails. We don't want that. Okay. So I'm just going to lightly filing until that black goes away. And you guys are not going to have the black on your nails when you first start, are you? I mean, when you start working on clients, please don't color their nails all black and then start filing. I'm like, what are you doing? But you need to be feeling, touching, and you can see, hopefully you can see that you'll feel the smoothness. You need to be constantly touching the nail here, okay? Now I'm just going to take my buffer and buff this nail nice and smooth, okay? The tips, the free edge as well, even though I don't really have one. It's a very short nail. Made it very, very short. Okay, sidewall straight here. Just check it all, and that is how you're going to sculpt your nails. And I want to see that you have an apex, okay? That your cuticle area is nice and flush, and also that you haven't tore up the client's cuticle area. And how are we going to know if you tore up their cuticle area? Well, first you got to use a new stick, first of all, because if you use an old one, it's going to definitely look tore up. But when you're at state board, they're going to check to see that the plastic around your finger is not all scarred up and scratched up and stuff like that, okay? That's why we go with a new hand, all right? So you want to try to avoid, when you're hand filing, cutting up your client's cuticle area, okay? Because you guys are not going to be able to use an e-file at state board. You can use an e-file in real life, of course. That makes it, some of y'all probably don't even hand file nothing except the tips or whatever, but I love to hand file. It's the most precise way to get the initial shape in, and then I like to use my e-file to do like very detailed cuticle work and stuff like that. But you know, we didn't always have e-files, okay? Back in the day, we had to imagine doing a soak off with no e-file. You will do it at state board, and then you'll never do it again because that's a lot of work, okay? So everybody understand what they're doing today? I want you guys, because none of you have nails on. This is a first. I want you guys to attempt to put a form on yourself. and let me, like, you know, at some point today, and I want to see if you put it on right, and if you have to adjust it, let's try it and see, so that way you guys can get the full experience of sculpting on a real finger. Okay, now there is a way for you to practice on yourself, you guys. The same way that we put the tape on those hands is the same way you can put that same tape on your fingers and do pop-offs. And you guys know how to do pop-off sets. Y'all know how to do that stuff better than I do. But practice sculpting on yourself. That's the best way to learn. Okay, so everybody feel good about it?
Yes.
You feel good about it? Good. She said, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. All right. Well, Shayla's gonna put the forms up here. You guys use as many forms as you need. Grab as many sticks as you need. We have plenty of new files up here. I had hid them from myself, but we got plenty of new files and buffers and stuff up here for you guys to use. You're gonna need your acrylic. You're gonna need your monomer. You're gonna need your brush, and grab you paper towels and maybe some towels in the back and the clean linen, so that way collect your dust on the table, and use as many forms as you guys need to use to get those done today. All right, and that is it. If you guys